Last time around, very successful. It's about translating that this time around up against the Sangal side, who I would say is as much of a German derby as you can get. A full German roster of Big against a Sangal roster of two German players of QB and Scrunk, and of course the coach of Tugarks.
Looking forward to see whether those 8 can make magic happen in server today. See what will happen for the Sangal side as they start things off on the T half. The Pistols ready to go live for our final map, our final best of one of today here for the IEM Road to Rio. V-stream action to come to a close by the end of the next hour. Big Julie's in for Crimbo, taking point out towards ramp. Smokes inbound for Scrunk. And Keto sits back with syrsoN at the back line. Crossfire looking like it will be the tabseN. Taps on from Fuzi. Crimbo engages, gets to, drops the bomb, turns around, almost 270 for a decent triple, but doesn't quite land it. tabseN and syrsoN come good against their kills, and now all left to Soulfly in the 1-3 situation. Being wrapped in for the flank, tabseN will close it. It will be a pistol for Big.
Yeah, unfortunate circumstances for Soulfly last RMR. Unfortunately, he hit the hurdle of the visa issues. And a bit of a fun fact for him, not only is he on debut at an RMR, he is on debut on LAN. He has not played a single map on LAN in the history of HLTV for him.
So the ultimate call-up, if you will. Step up to the right foot, to the plate. Be the big man of this matchup, so to speak. Right now, no big man for Sangal. Only a couple of kills in for Corey and Soulfly to kick things off in the pistol round, and a harsh eco to follow it up with the loss. Big, of course, on their guns. 4 rifles, 1 SMG. No resistance from the T side.
Sangal aren't going to bring much to the equation. Funny enough, actually, Jay, the coaches of Godby and Tugarks once played together in the ESWC 2012 German qualifier 10 years ago.
I have no idea how you managed to pull that information, but I respect you for it.
The only time they've actually played together.
It's 2 very different paths walked here in the Counter-Strike, but somehow intersecting here and now. All right, Keto, SMG. Need to hunt down the T-side players that will look to try and press up from the ramp position. Fuzi boosted over, already spotted. Footsteps heard, spray comes up good against 2, 1,200 bucks. tabseN there to pick up the rest of the pieces, mow them down, drop that bomb, and tap up the head of Scrunk. Triple for him, 2-0.
And we know that for Big, they've got a little bit of a winning streak when it comes to Mirage on the other side of the field of Sangal, so it's whether they can turn that winning streak into something a little bit more. 3 wins and 1 loss in the last 3 months. Sangal aren't one of the grindy teams that we would talk about in Tier 2. There's a couple of names here at the RMR that pretty much play every event under the sun. Sangal are starting to get into that conversation of getting more events under their belt, but not up there with the highest of Tier 2.
Guns in, of course, the AK spread across the entire lineup. Try to try and get that first round on the board here for the Sangal side. Mostly playing around that top mid position. I'm not sure how that smoke landed there for the T side in the spawn, but some sort of missed piece of utility. It might have actually been one of the mid smokes now, and Big to quickly make their way up here. syrsoN past the stack, seeing Soulfly. The smoke starts to bloom. Man himself watching. Will syrsoN take a peek? When will he take a peek?
Got to imagine there's going to be a flash around the corner when this smoke starts to clear. syrsoN still unchecked, and now it's just a distraction in from tabseN. That's a great bait and switch. Sangal just didn't see it coming at all.
Didn't even need syrsoN to win that fight. Keto got the dink on Fuzi. 5 on 3 gained here for Big. Sangal backing their way away from underpass into the apartment and up out towards that top mid angle, which syrsoN is still holding. So for Sangal, not really many great options other than to rotate and commit to a bomb site from the standard lanes.
And knowing that Sangal had to play with a coach the last time around in the RMR, they're looking to try and get more victories on the board. And of course, you look back at Antwerp, losing to players in the first game, losing to G2 in a best of 1, and then going up against ASG in the best of 3, going 0-3. Trying to see if they can put some more positivity on the board. Corey, at least finding a pick back in mid.
It's in the area, sent close to syrsoN, but not quite tagging him down yet. 1955, he's going to fall closer in towards ladder, and Corey pops out of connector and does get the kill on tabseN. tabseN there with the trade back, drops Scrunk and the bomb. And actually here with a 5-second timer to try and get all three of these picks. And he's doing well to get Cribbo and tabseN, who is syrsoN being so far away. He might be inexperienced, but he knows to stay alive in that set of circumstances. So hold on to an AK, make it 3-0 to start here for Big.
I'm pretty much convinced that QB is going to be the next superstar of the generation of German CS, and it's only going to be a matter of time until more people see that. 17 years old, he played on No Limit Gaming. Funny enough, with syrsoN, both of those guys played together on that team for about 6 months or so. Even had the opportunity of being Sprout's 6th man in a lot of the Meisterschaft competitions when they needed Core 3 German.
Teammates at 1 point, opponents today. Right now, syrsoN leading the charge in terms of that particular rivalry. Unfortunately, yet to get a frag so far.
Oh, you'll be happy with a 3-0.
No kills, but no deaths, so it's not like he's been a detriment to Big as of yet. Sangal forcing back around that saved AK. Galil's onto the Tech-9 and Deagle. Also in effect, there's tabseN with the kill. Corey down, double up as he turns back on Scrunk towards bottom of mid. That's the mid control wiped out for Sangal.
He's just eating them for dinner, isn't he, at this point? Yep. Farm and tabseN up to double digits within the first 4 rounds of the game. And that could be a very concerning element of tabseN fragging to this sort of level. We know that he's a very powerful in-game leader and rifler for this team. The last thing you want to do is feed him confidence, because he can be just so dangerous around that connector position in the top of stairs.
10 kills in 4 rounds, 209 ADR. That's definitely screaming confidence to me. Sangal have either got to find a way to shut him down or avoid him entirely. In this particular round, it might be the latter of those. Deagle's brought in, flashes and smokes. Sent up to position. The Deagle and Corey will try fire out towards that ramp control. Soulfly first out into the open. Does get dealt with by syrsoN, who does get his first kill on the board. But syrsoN falls in trade, so 4-on-4 situation could still work out for Sangal if they can get another pick.
It's all about being able to get on the front foot here from Sangal. Haven't really been able to play a massive amount of their own game on the T side. And losing a lot of fights, losing a lot of that control towards mid. Corey, one of Hungarian's best. Not known as having the most proficient teams when it comes to the higher end of Tier 2, but definitely an individual that we know a lot about.
Give himself a little bit of information for the people at home to know about. Eagle standing in this particular round. Probably shouldn't find much. Indeed, he does get picked up by tabseN. Fuzi dropping to syrsoN as well. Scrunk and QB, last couple of players left. Might try prod out towards the apartments. syrsoN's ready for that, though. QB did catch a kill on tabseN, so that's 1 frag to return some damage. Secondary pick might be nice, but missing a shot leaves nothing in this round. 5-0 for the start for Big. Sangal up to the bye.
And it's incredible to think that even someone like Scrunk, the in-game leader of Sangal, while he's been very experienced in the online atmosphere, actually hasn't played that many big-name LAN events. You think back to the RMR last time around, that was one of the first. Even though he's been around for a very long time, he's 27 years old, led some strong German teams in Alternate Attacks, Koana, and even Euronics. They haven't often played at the higher-end LAN events.
A higher boost for Fuzi to look into the connector controls. syrsoN down low over at underpass, catching Scrunk. Flick not connecting. Damage will be done. Nays to return onto Soulfly, who will sponge it, keep Fuzi alive for now. Not quite unscathed. 5-on-4 for Big.
And perhaps the conversation can only continue if the difference between Tier 2 and Tier 1, that even for Sangal, this might be one of the best draws that you want. And they have not been able to show us much positivity at all. syrsoN with that mid setup with his teammate at tabseN, and Sangal desperate for any sort of response right now.
3-man crossfire here in the mid position. syrsoN ready with the AWP. Take the shot, fall back, leave it to the mid player. Boost up on the run for Fuzi. Knife out, syrsoN. Oh, flashbang's going to be a bit mistimed. It might just force him out, though. Give tabseN a chance to get the kill against both, and he lands him. Nice and effective, well coordinated there by Big.
And this is something that we can always expect from Big, is that tactical prowess, that flash assist, the utility damage, and right there, flash around the corner, get tabseN aggressive, drop that bomb, syrsoN even working with the smoke down towards underpass, and syrsoN with the AWP catching the lurk off. 6-0. this has been a walk in the park. This has not been a challenge at all here from Sangal. And I want to see some more from the big man of Fuzi, the AWP player. We knew that he started making his name on Flowsuka into Young Ninjas, had an opportunity for quite a few events of playing up with the main roster. One of the most experienced players that we have here on Sangal, and knowing that the AWP is such an important weapon for this team and in a general landscape, I'd love to see Fuzi get more confidence and more control.
On the flip side, I'm glad to see that Big are not having one of those off days. I mentioned before that you don't really know which Big we're going to see until the match starts, be that the FaZe beating Big or the Tier 2 losing Big quite handily at that.
Well, you consider the fact, Jay, that the last 3 months they've won, what, 4 out of 12 series? They've beaten Order and EG in a best of 1 and beaten MIBR and for the win in best of 3s. Every other game has been losses.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You never know whether it's going to be one of those big opportunities for Big, those big matches where they just turn up and show great success, or that it will be one of those 8 losses. Sangal make another best of 1 to the favor of the big camp. Got Keto sitting ready to try and receive the Sangal side here. AK ready and raring to receive QB and Corey. 2 players to try and round the corner. Smokes down to try and siphon off vision in towards that mid control and connector, but they're not going to act with that utility placement just yet. Try
and see if they can exploit open that con, allow themselves to walk up. Keto not holding the angle as aggressively. HE placement is good into connector.
A nice nade. Scrunk and Soulfly down to 49 and 41 respectively. Keto lands the headshot onto QB. Smoking against Fuzi will keep that bomb at bay. tabseN and syrsoN combine and remove all pistols from play. Not much challenge in this round. Of course, it was an eco. 1 on 5 now for Fuzi. He's got to go down and get the money bonus because there's no sense in saving a Glock here.
And funny enough as well for syrsoN, who has not played a single game for the main roster of Big, he's actually played a lot of Mirage with Big Academy. Averages a 1.17 rating in fact, 17 maps in the last 3 months. They are one of the teams in Tier 2 that play a lot of officials, and Mirage is the highest played map in the pool for him. So what better way than to have a stand-in from your Academy team come into the RMR, and your first game is the map that you play the most in the last 3 months?
Encouraging for him, but again, as I said before, this map has not been played all that often for the rest of his team. The lowest rated, lowest play rate here for Sangal, the second lowest for Big, so just general inexperience across the board when it comes to recent results at least. Encouraging for that individual. Let's see whether or not it will convert into the Tier 1 environment. Right now it's tabseN that's converting every single pick he finds. 15 kills in just 7 rounds. syrsoN, however, strikes alongside the veteran. 16 kills now for tabseN. The Soulfly and Scrunk fall to both players. It's a 5-on-3.
And it just shows how much press there's been from Big on this City side, always getting aggressive in from mid. That's a good duel for Corey. And now they've started to bring this back. 3v3 finally looks like a round that's workable.
There's an opportunity available to them. Corey tagged up, however. Further nade to his position. QB also took a bit of tag damage. Fuzi's the mailer at 100 points of health. Will look down towards mid and hope for some sort of shot and connection. Rotations on QB will join his teammate. Now try and look towards that mid control, but not look to gain it. Sangal are being so tentative about this.
They've got plenty of time to work with, plenty of nades as well. They can smoke up short, work top of connector, or vice versa, smoke off top con, work in for a B split. They've got to try and see if they can give themselves more leverage with the map control. syrsoN repositioning that AWP towards short now. 2 on B, and tabseN very defensive towards City spawn on A.
Got not connecting. AWP's also been seen. syrsoN has the info to call for backup. There's one player in a market already. Nice incendiary to slow down the pacing. Flashbang will catch him blinded as syrsoN keeps his eyes on, and tabseN rotates. 16 seconds. syrsoN caught a collateral, a kill and a tag. tabseN follows suit on Corey as Fuzi found 1 trade. Now the last man standing. syrsoN catches him with his back turn, trying to go for the A rotation, but getting nothing out of it, and nothing found for Sangal so far. It's 8-0.
There we go for the young man. You even saw syrsoN getting hyped off of that one. Strong defensive hold out there on B. He's able to stay alive, pull that distraction away from the bench control, get himself up to 6 frags. And for Sangal, that looked like the best opportunity yet. Tugux having a chat with the boys, just saying this isn't good enough. And we know that he had once upon a time be the coach of Big Academy, so there's a little bit of something on the line there. Obviously, ex-pro as well. Saw him play at one of the minors with Space Soldiers back in the day.
That's calling back to some serious history, Dwayne. Where are you getting these stats from? Like,
yeah. I remember we casted a couple of games when there was XDP. Do you remember that lot? Where Woxic was on the team and Tugux was also part of it because he's been one of those German, Turkish kind of players over the course of his career.
Oh yeah, Dark Passage, of course.
That's right, yeah. See, it's bringing back some memories.
That's another callback, like, bloody hell. ESWC from 10 years ago and Space Soldiers from...
About 6, yeah.
6 years ago, like, Jesus. Let's focus on the here and now for Sangal. Got to leave history to history and focus on the present and the future because their present is nothing but misery. 3 kills, 4 kills, AWP landing a triple. Skrunk to take back one of Crimbo. The bomb's been dropped. The CTs are all over him, though. He's got no chance.
This is a massive eye-opener to see what Sangal are going to do here at the RMR because... my goodness, I thought this would be a fight. I thought we'd really have a best of one here where it's going to be a tough battle for both of these teams, even with Big being the favorites, but it's not even close. It hasn't even been competitive. Keto with the wrap, allowing Skrunk to fall 9-0 in from Big, and it's the lack of bomb plants and even site control that's been gained from Sangal. They haven't been able to achieve much at all in this first half.
It's looking worrying. Nothing being found, as you mentioned. Even the numbers on the individual basis. Skrunk only just found his first kill. 4 at maximum for the Sangal side. Quick rush in towards the B side, hoping to bring pace to the table and try out-frag them or outpace them in that sort of sense. Beat them to the punch. Unfortunately, the punches are stronger for Big. 3 for 2 trade. syrsoN now reduced them to 1. QB also caught off with a quick shot back. And it's 10-0. This is looking like it's over already.
And knowing the idea that, yes, it's been a 12-game winning streak for Sangal, they've actually beaten some decent teams in that. Fnatic in a 2-1 affair, beating LDLC in a grand final, which was the LDLC side that beat Falcons only a couple of weeks ago. And they took on the likes of Sprout, beat them, and Entropic to get into this event. There are some high-end Tier 2 caliber squads that they've beaten in the run, but just have not been able to prove anything here against Big.
Yeah, Sangal just continuing to lose these opening fights. Corey just peeking right into syrsoN. syrsoN not missing at all. 14 frags, only 3 behind tabseN, still extending his numbers to 17. Soulfly couldn't catch the player that leaned in from mid, back into connector. Keto tucked in over at dark. tabseN leans forward. Keto should get forced back. Skrunk dealt with next. syrsoN's AWP lands a double. Soulfly caught by Crimbo next. Huey did get 1 exchange back out towards Palace. syrsoN will fall. The 4 on 2. Fuzi now makes it 3 and a second. A kill comes in against Keto. He wins at a 2 versus 2 now. What more can he find?
Now, this is very doable. Over-aggression coming down from the ramp control. Big getting a little bit hasty in that matter. And now start thinking about further control. Allow themselves to get in towards that T-spawn position. Play together. Sangal, this is their best chance yet to get the first round up.
Get a bomb plant at least. It won't be the round win yet, but it will be something at the most. Haven't seen a bomb plant from Sangal yet so far, so baby steps at this moment, but they're sitting around. They're waiting for Big to press the issue forward. They haven't even accounted for the idea of a backstab. That's that lack of experience here for the Sangal side, not really knowing when Big are going to go for this. Crimbo was closing the pincers. Incendiary down to the default plant position. That's smart as well. As Crimbo slowly works his way in. Fuzi not caught yet. He's going to look for QB instead. Get that kill, and syrsoN holds on QB as well. Very nicely coordinated down to the last second there for that bomb plant to be denied. But ultimately it is denied. And Sangal continue to struggle.
Crimbo just finding so much success from that backstab out from ramp, and Scrunk and Crimbo played together for all of 2021 on both alternate attacks and from Koana before he got picked up to go over to Big Academy, and then of course the promotion to the main roster. And they thought about slowing it down, trying to see if they can give themselves an offer up a mistake perhaps of their opposition, but not to be. Big now even running the double orbs from Keto and syrsoN. We've seen this before.
Gonna make to take stock in what we were saying in the pregame about the concerns we have for Big in this tournament. Well, certainly not showing up in this matchup. Maybe might show in the next few rounds of the Swiss. But right now, Big, despite missing a player, despite having a stand-in, despite the consistency issues we've seen from them over the last handful of months, they are decimating anything that Sangal can throw at them. Another half by Deco with the Kevlar. Work their way in towards the mid control. Uncontested by Big this time.
Yeah, even when you compared the last RMR, we saw Sangal putting up some decent fights in the best of ones, taking 7 rounds off of players and double digits against G2. And those best of ones being touch and go, even with a coach standing in. And this time around, it's not been the result they're looking for at all. Try and see if they can exploit some of that mid control. End up splitting B.
Nades down to drive away, connect to control, smokes up. syrsoN has seen one player in the apartments, turning his attention back out towards the short position. Does miss that first shot and does get overwhelmed by the pistols. Crimbo, however, undetected. Corey will see him now and struggles to get that kill. In fact, Soulfly able to take him back with an eagle shot. So 4 on 3, and now Sangal, for the first time ever, have an advantage over Big.
Now, this is looking very promising, but as soon as I say that, look at the response. syrsoN from short's been able to find a quick pick onto QB.
Looking for more, not quite able to spot Fuzi as of yet. Skrunk's Deagle, waiting on the edge of the site. tabseN leaning forward, flashbang turned away from. There comes the kill for Keto. Deagle fires, tabseN kills him back. Fuzi 1 on 3, 3 HP as well. On the defuse, they'll look. syrsoN will wrap that corner, get this frag back. Well, at least Sangal got a bomb plant, but it's still a 12-0 scoreline for Big.
And there's not really too much you can fault with Big. They've been quality over the course of this best of one, and I think Sangal, in hindsight, after this best of one, they'll be able to look back at this game and see where a lot of the mistakes have come through with the lack of confidence and even establishing map control and how they can improve some of their T-side defaults. But Big have been all over them. We've seen syrsoN and tabseN just feast on frags. The idea that they're nearly up to 35 frags between the two of them 12 rounds in is just ridiculous.
It's not even just the numbers of the combination, it's how soon they've come back. You mentioned that at just 12 rounds. Ridiculous stuff. And Sangal have yet to find an answer. Started to find themselves along the lines of an answer, particularly with the bomb plant in the previous round. But money's only going to mean so much when you need to make up 12 rounds themselves. Maybe even 13. Nades up. Corey takes the early tag.
And perhaps the lack of best of one success for Sangal is hurting them. 6 wins and 7 losses in the last 3 months. A lot of the teams at the RMR have got a positive win rate in best of ones. Not the case for Sangal. tabseN caught, getting aggressive into connector. Opening pick finally.
Flag damage done, but still Keto swings ahead of the fire. Above the smoke, getting Soulfly. Fuzi responds in kind. So 4 on 3. Sangal, another advantage for them to walk off. Will it remain that way? Ooh, actually, Fuzi catching syrsoN as he over-aggresses towards mid. A mistake made by Big this time. Crimbo and syrsoN continue trying to fight for that mid control, but ultimately to focus on the B side, because now Corey's about to walk out towards it, get the kill on Crimbo, and finally, it looks like a little bit of success will go the way of Sangal here.
It does seem that way. They'll be happy about that one. And it comes to a round in which, even though there's a multi-frag from the AWP of Fuzi, it doesn't get disrupted like it did previously. Get themselves the first round up, and you've got to imagine this is the start for something. Whether it's the start of a comeback, it doesn't matter. It's the start of getting off of not getting 16-0'd and putting your first round up.
It's the start. See some little threats of frags here towards the apartments though, so it won't be an easy start. But at least it is a start here for the Sangal side. Plenty of cash for Big to rebuy, though. Should be seeing them buy back for round 14 and 15. So no issues when it comes to economy state. But rip the dream, at least. That's something that Big will have to take on the chin. Not like I think it would mean much when you consider their worst case scenario here is a 12-3.
And we know that for Sangal, even though they managed to come through from the quarterfinal game against Entropic, they were tested in the round of 64 in the open qual, having a double OT against Iron Branch, one of the CIS squads. They did not make it to the RMR, but it shows that for Sangal, even their road here to qualify to the RMR was not an easy one at all.
Won't get any easier now that they're here. Keto blind on that AWP, connects on Fuzi. Hubie next up against syrsoN. Zorb, the second one in play for this. Catches him point blank, nice and easy. Incendiary explodes in the middle of the air for Sangal. Soulfly in connector, might not be detected before this smoke clears. The nade damage will come through, and the kill gets found by tabseN next.
Corey and Skrunk just not even in a position where they can drive further forward. They don't have map control. You've got a crossfire set out towards this B site. This could be big, fighting their 13th without even dropping a player.
syrsoN catches Corey, and I think you're right, Blake. Double up, triple overall, 13-1, all 5 alive. And Sangal are just backhanded right back into reality.
And it's a very difficult position to be in for Sangal, because is this an accurate representation of what they're like against Tier 1 opposition? We don't know, because we saw them against Tier 1 opposition the last RMR. We haven't seen that at all till today. They're a team that don't get opportunities like this very often to play in these European lands, to play some of the best teams in the world. And right now, they're just getting battered, and we're not seeing the Sangal that we know in Tier 2.
Definitely not. Again, we're talking about how all the teams kind of want to see if they can find big above all else. If this is the one team you'd expect to have the best chance against in the Swiss stage. Well, Sangal have had their best chance and somehow have not been able to convert much at all. They found the opening frag in this round at least, but there is so much more to do.
And how many times have we seen that while there might be slight advantages, they can get returned quickly? And tabseN and syrsoN to play off one another deep towards spawn. You've got Crimbo starting to walk over forward, only because syrsoN's aggressive with the AWP in the apartment, so they're going to stack up 3 on A right now.
Smokes in. I think one of them actually missed out. Yeah, it's going to land on this Tetris position. It was supposed to be, I believe, for the connector stairs. Smokes in, spray through, tabseN doing damage to QB, looking on Soulfly, gets his pick. Nice gap in that smoke for him to abuse there. Incendiary Stone, he might get forced away, indeed he will. 4-on-4 scenario, 30 seconds to make a move.
Yeah, they've got to get a move on, and they still don't know about the 2 players in the site. tabseN just pulling distraction and gets another kill onto Skrunk.
I'll swing out against Fuzi for the triple. Reload should catch him dead for Corey's part, but syrsoN so quick to respond. Out of dark, doubles up a 14-1.5 for Big. It is absolute decimation against Sangal.
Jeez, we have not seen much at all from Sangal, and Big are on tip-top. Absolute quality in that first half, and you've got to imagine, come the break, they're going to do it in the second.
Well, I feel very silly for having ever doubted Big in this context. A 14-1 half dwell. I still have reservations about the tournament itself, but against Sangal, they have had a completely effortless time in this best of one.
And this should be the most one-sided loss Sangal have taken this entire year. The worst victory that they've had was 3 rounds against Copenhagen Flames back in April. Can they even match that? Can they get to 3, push it to even further? 14-1. All it's going to take is a couple of rounds of Big, and you'd imagine it's going to get started with a pistol.
I'd say pistol is going to be enough. Win that buy-up conversion with rifles, map point and all. Sangal need to try and hold the line here on the A side. Already syrsoN gets forced off of it without much damage being done, admittedly, by those pistols at the T side line. syrsoN continues to tap on and does catch Keto in the end, so that's at least a start. syrsoN caught up by Fuzi. Next QB also strikes back on Sin. Fuzi will drop in turn, so it'll be a 4 versus 2. Now a 1-on-3 for tabseN. The P250 in hand, desperate to strike back, getting damage, no kills. That's an important survival pistol for Sangal.
Just what they're looking for. A couple of smiles being cracked on the faces there from Sangal, syrsoN included, knowing, there we go. We've at least put a double round up onto the board. Let's see if we can make it more. Big could even force by here, knowing the idea that they didn't do a massive amount of damage or get the bomb plant. You're still working with that sort of a lead. Sangal really just holding on to lifelines at this point onwards.
For now. Whether that lifeline gets snatched away or it turns into a full-blown comeback is yet to be seen. I'm not banking on that latter one, by the way. It's a 12-round deficit. And already they've lost the opening pick of this round against the firing squad of Glocks. Fuzi didn't even get a lick of damage to the T side.
And this doesn't feel good at all for someone like Soulfly, who's not only debuting in an RMR, but is debuting on LAN in his entire career. That this is your first game that you have in a best of one. What is going on here? Good thing that didn't disappear.
Trying to get the M4. I think just to get rid of that rifle that Big couldn't pick it up. I mean, I've never seen that done before. It looked like it was close, but that's a bit more of a sensible place.
Yeah.
Well, either way, Sangal down by 1. Going to try and focus on the A defensive. They've seen what's going on here. syrsoN will capitalize upon 1 QB with 2 more in the lineup. syrsoN should be denied the bomb plant. There you go. That's 3 to the board. Rifles up for Big.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised if Big were going to be even able to get jungle control to get that from Mars, but I guess in hindsight, they think we don't want to give them any opportunity to strike back, to be able to recover some further kills, but it's just a Glock round. There's really not much to it at all. Now they can focus up to the next, and for Big, as soon as you get the rifles through, that's when you could really put your foot down and say, yeah, enough is enough. We're giving you a few rounds. Let's close it down.
At least they don't get their worst result so far this year, at least. They can avoid that much.
That's true.
I like it'll make a massive difference in terms of this matchup here. Big still in control, still hunting for the 1 round that will turn things over to map points, match points, and probably the victory with that as well. At this stage, it will be 12 match points to Sangal. You just count them out already in terms of getting that back to overtime. Molotov sent. syrsoN, first man in. Soulfly spots him. Sprays very awkward. Only getting damage on the Achilles heel. Him and Fuzi dropping to the T-side hands. QB traded back by Keto. syrsoN tries to hold the center of the site. Getting that first pick, but not ready for tabseN. It's Corey in a 1-on-3.
Just beat them with the pace in that round. That was so quick. Out of the gates from that ramp control, just exploding down and getting yourself up towards the top of stairs. And while there's a multi-frag and connector, that's just a rollover. And that's Big just playing with confidence. 1 more round to go. And for the German side, in as close to a German derby as we could hope for, looks to put on the most one-sided map we've seen all day so far. I think back to the Aurora and Fnatic game being a 16-4. Might even get a 16-3 here.
I'd say that's the most likely outcome at this moment. 2 Deagles, a scout around the 2 M4s that they are playing with. So really aggression in towards the apartments from Soulfly. Might catch Crimbo relatively soon. At least mid control's being conceded by Sangal.
syrsoN turning away from the flash, not quite looking to get the entry up towards the top of connector just yet. You've got 4 and A, so this is a very heavy stack considering there's been an info play. Soulfly, the B anchor's pressed up right aggressively to the apartments. It does open up a slight walkway into this short control though.
Damage done to QB. Skrunk waiting for a chance to make a move in here from the sniper's nest, trying to look out towards mid. Did not spot the player that made his way away, so no chance to get the kill. syrsoN's been inserted into ladder room though, and that might become a future concern for Sangal.
You've got to imagine so. Run the clock, start being able to pull more of a distraction over towards that B side. And tabseN could get caught off from Soulfly if he starts to lurk even further aggressive into the apartments.
Tations inbound towards that B side. They've got some false information. I assume that's syrsoN making some noise, trying to indicate some sort of B hit. The reality is going to be the A play with QB on the Deagle, Corey. Another Deagle as well. The pistol's only towards the A site, but with nothing seen towards short or towards the apartments. Oh, syrsoN, perfect, firing at nothing, drawing attention away from the A site, but the real execution's inbound. Corey is forced to react. Backup is on the way, but the kills come in for syrsoN and tabseN. A 5-on-3 as the pistols fall. The rifles next to take face. Skrunk will get Keto on one, but the retake's got to get set up, and Soulfly's already down.
Oh, he's just made them look like fools, just over-rotating them and faking them completely. And now the post-plant looks successful too. Fuzi, last one left with that scout, moving over to the M4 from CT, being wrapped in from syrsoN. Does drop in to be the first, but any more than that is going to be a tough affair. Bomb plant out towards Connector, draws another fight into the open, so at least he's getting picks together.
Got no kit though, he's got to go for the defuse right now, and Crimbo swings out with the assistance of tabseN to get the 16-3. Wonderful play from syrsoN right there to draw their attention away from the A site, throw them into such confusion when the execution actually came through, caught in rotate. That was a really smart round from him. Ultimately just a decimating game from Big. 16-3, 1-0 in Swiss.
That's an eye-opener. That was really charging in there from Big. Did not make that competitive for the Sangal side at all. And unfortunately for the European squad, that's not the best way to start your...